Yeah, and here we are once again. Sorry about that short delay. There was a little bit of a lobby issue. Players had to relog. We're currently jumping right back into it. Just a second here. But so far, coming to this, picks and bans have already been decided, which means we'll be jumping. Yeah, we'll be jumping right into the actual picks and bans in just a couple of moments. Sorry about that. For the most part, though, coming into this is going to be two rosters that we haven't seen previously play against each other in the regular season. Hickman B has only played against the other B team rosters the entire season, while Rockbridge, of course, only played against the other A team rosters. Now, a very interesting part, though, about this Hickman B roster is the fact that 3 of their members were previously on the A team during the exhibition season. That being Alec Alejero James, Willin456 being Griffin Pelling, and of course Nathan Nelmore. All 3 of them were on the Hickman A roster in the exhibition season, where they actually beat Rockbridge 2-0 already in a best of 3. So that was already pretty exciting, and they're very hungry tonight to take on this Rockbridge roster. Yeah, at the moment, though, now, of course, we're still waiting to jump into lobby tonight. Not really quite sure what the delay is and aren't really getting any updates. I believe the issue is actually something on the voice chat issue. It is being resolved, though, very shortly. But again, for a B team roster, this being the #1 B team roster, we're jumping into it right now, luckily enough. Yeah, but here we are, though, jumping into the picks and bans. They didn't get as much time to talk about it as we'd like, but we'll, of course, get to it during the game. On the left-hand side, this being the home team tonight, the blue side is Rockbridge A. On the right side, the red side, the away team for tonight for the first game will be Hickman B. First 3 bans coming out from Rockbridge are the Fizz, the Braum, and the Darius pick. This makes a lot of sense, specifically the Fizz. In the mid lane for Hickman B is not Yayo, that being Suho Lee. Suho is he was a substitute mid laner a couple of weeks ago, as well as on Friday, and for the most part, he's been a standout performer. Essentially, I believe he was a Fizz one-trick back in Korea, actually. Currently, he went 18-1-1 in the game that he first subbed in, and that's obviously something that you don't want to give your opponents when the opportunity presents itself. Instead tonight, though, he'll be on Kassadin, another kind of aggressive assassin. We believe we saw him Yasuo. He played Yasuo on Friday, and again, very similar pick that kind of matches his aggressive playstyle. It looks like, though, for the top side of the map, we're seeing the Gnar, Trundle, and Karma come out for Rockbridge. With the Karma pick, we saw it actually earlier in the Hickman game. Again, similar, more of a support style mid laner. Does deal a lot of damage when landing her abilities, but she's really all about their shields and the speed ups. So it's likely we're going to see most of the carry potential coming out from the bot lane of Rockbridge High School tonight.
Karma seeming to be a very popular pick in recent weeks. Why do you think that is, Ben?
I argue that a lot of it's from the recent surge of Assassins. Assassins have been very, very strong in the meta recently. Karma being a champion that kind of negates some of that burst, able to protect her teammates, her AD carry, and herself in lane with those massive shields. Basically provides 2 supports if you have a similar kind of player in the actual support role. So kind of really negates some of that damage that can come up from the Assassins. One like the Kassadin that we'll see tonight being played by Suho Lee.
Same thing about the Ezreal picks was what I've noticed too. With the recent change in build orders with the Archangel staff, double tier is what they call it. It seems like a lot of people are electing to go with Ezreal as the pick, though we haven't seen that much damage coming out of any of these high school players.
Yeah, I believe the first one to play it earlier today was Matthew Gosubot Perkins in the second game against Battle. He opted to go for the double tier build, and the coolest part about that is it just deals a lot of mixed damage as an Ezreal. You're sitting in the back lane, you're dealing poke, and an enemy can't just itemize against one part of your damage. He already has scaling up for both ability power and attack damage, meaning he deals both magic and physical damage. So because of that, it makes it a lot harder for the tanks on the enemy team to just build armor or magic resist. So he's very strong and deals a lot of damage in the mid to late points of this game. And that's exactly the champion that we're seeing come out for Rockbridge's roster. They're hoping that Ezreal will be the carry they need, which is kind of interesting because Ezreal, while he can put out a lot of damage, and he definitely can carry games, he's not the first champion I would have thought of that they want to protect in this kind of composition, especially with the Jinx being up at the moment, especially the Caitlyn as well. Two characters that scale very, very well as hyper carries, and when protected, it's almost impossible to beat.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that Ezreal himself as a character has tons of escape opportunities within his own abilities. So interesting pick from Rockbridge's side. Maybe they're playing the more experimental game in the first of a best of 3. Again, let's not forget that these matches in our postseason are a best of 3, meaning even if Rockbridge were to potentially lose game 1, they'll just easily re-strategize with their coach, in this case, Coach Cobb, to improve upon the next picks and bans phase.
I really like the draft, though, of both teams in the sense that it's well-rounded. They do have the attack damage. They do have the magic damage. They also have damage in the jungle position. It's not like a crazy full-on tank in the Trundle pick. So potentially some good early game. We've seen that before from Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen on that Trundle. On the right side, though, from Hickman's roster, we're seeing a Vladimir on the top. Now, Alec Alejandro James, normally the carry mid laner for this roster. He's currently playing in the top lane as Tim Peters had to sub in on the 18 games in the absence of Michael Zhu. So, Vladimir, though, again, for Alec, makes sense from his champion pool. Again, traditionally a mid laner. Vladimir, not your traditional top laner. He can definitely flex in the top lane, though, and also a pretty good damage dealer up there into the Gnar. So from the looks of what the Hickman roster has, I do also like their mixed damage, their pick potential. When you look at the Varus ultimate, the Rakan engage, the Zac coming down. The question is going to be, though, is if they don't have enough damage or they fall too far behind early on, are they going to be able to keep up and catch back up in this game? We talk about wave clear all the time. You won't have that in the mid lane. You'll definitely have some in the top lane from the Vlad, a little bit from the Varus as well. But again, if this cast and pick doesn't get rolling, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and also want to make a note for Hickman's roster. They have selected a lot of ability power damage on their squad, not just from their top jungle and mid, but also their bot lane. So building some magic resist early on could prove very beneficial for this Rockbridge roster. Maybe they've identified this as we approach the end of Spectator's delay. I also wanted to talk about the jungle matchup. We've seen Galaxy Fox, that would be Jeffrey Mullen, playing a very aggressive style jungler throughout the entirety of this Ukatsu High School eSports League, and we'll see how exactly he's transitioned that into his new champion that he's been practicing a bunch lately is Trundle. Hasn't had too much success, I would say, in terms of being as effective as his Zac playstyle or his Kayn playstyle, but slowly but surely improving on not just the roams, but the 1v1 matchups and the team fights.
Yeah, interesting enough, this is the same kind of pick, though. The best part about the Trundle into the Zac is the fact that while Zac is flying in, you can just pillar him. And we saw that a couple of times. I actually don't remember which team that was, if it was Hickman A that did that, or if it was Rockbridge into battle previously. But they used the Trundle pretty effectively. I believe it was into battle, actually, stopping Scrumpy multiple times on the Zac with the Trundle pick. So that definitely like a counter pick there, and especially earlier on, the pressure will be from the Trundle. Like you said, he loves to invade, loves to get into the enemy's junglers and kind of get in their face. Nelmar won't have the damage necessary to really 1v1 him early on if Jeffrey chooses to do so.
And let's talk about this one-of-a-kind matchup. Here we have Hickman's B team roster playing against Rockbridge's A team roster, which is something we've never seen in the Ukatsu High School Esports League. Only in the district playoffs are we seeing the top B team playing against, in this case, the top A team, as they are, what was their record? Ben, they only dropped one game, is that
Hickman
correct?
and Rockbridge, both these rosters were 7-1 each when it comes to how far they've actually been able to play against each other in this game. So that's really, really exciting to see when you take into account that this is the first time they're going to play against each other. I already went over before how 3 of these members had played against the original Rockbridge roster in the exhibition season.
Right.
But at the same time, there are only 2 members of that original Rockbridge roster that are on there right now. They do have 3 new members as well, if you take into account VexQ, who actually was playing the AD carry position, Exim, and Owltime, that being Sean Yu. Both of those members were not present last year on that exhibition roster.
Yeah, and that is so critical to mention because this bot lane is arguably one of the deadliest in the entire league. That would be Michael and Sean Yu. Tonight, we're going to see what kind of impact Michael can make with the Ezreal pick. It's, again, something that's not easy to deal a lot of damage with if you miss your skill shots, if you're not good about auto-attacking between your skill shots.
Exactly.
And so I'm very curious to see what shakes down in this bot lane, a very typically aggressive type of bot lane. This time, will we see Shan Yu using Soraka in a much more aggressive way, much more so than, say, like Battle High School did earlier today, or even Hickman did?
Yeah, I definitely can agree with that, especially when you take account the biggest mismatch, the most inexperienced bot lane in this league, or at least playing tonight in the semifinals, is the Hickman B roster. Both Tom Lawless and Willin456, that being Griffin Pelling, are two players that are very new to the game, very new to these roles. Tom Lawless, even though he liked to play marksman before, never considered himself an AD carry main. Now he's really kind of come into this role as he's learned to play Varus, learned to play Ashe. Before he used to be a Quinn one trick.
That's right.
Exactly. Here he is, though, now. I love Coach Bruce putting him on the picks like the Varus, like the Ashe, allowing him just more utility and kind of more of like a backseat role, while the carries of their team, that being Alec Alejero and recently now Suho Lee, Na Ye Yo, playing in the mid and the top lane. They've done an excellent job filling those carry shoes and providing now a two-pronged approach for this roster. Now, the difficult thing, though, and the kind of bad part about that, though, is since both of those members are the ones that are going to be dishing out the damage and the primary carries for their team, is that they are both magic damage oriented. Let's say Tom Lawless isn't able to get ahead early. If they just itemize against magic resist, that's going to be a big issue for their roster.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And as both teams now begin their jungle camps, leashing for bot side on the red side, and of course blue side on the top side for Rockbridge High School, we'll see just exactly what Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen, again, the classic jungle invader, will do tonight.
I think that's why they start him on the opposite side all the time. Again, though, for those of you guys watching at home, not quite sure who is who, in the top lane right here, we have Andrew Vexhue Apostle. Very, very solid top laner, if not the second best top laner in the league. Still up in the air. Very, very good at what he does, at least keeping his lane even and just doing his job for the most part. In the jungle position, we've talked about him a lot, not doing too crazy of an early invade this time around. Galaxy Fox, that being Jeffrey Mullen, definitely one of the most impactful jugglers in this league. We talk all the time about his invade pressure, opting not to do it this time around, though, interestingly enough.
Do want to plug in, he's a Ukatsu League of Legends camp alum, so he's learned quite a bit since playing as the jungler role with us throughout the years.
In the mid lane, we have senior Justin Dang, Kill XL, playing this Karma pick. Haven't seen him play it before. Maybe taking up a tip or two from Hickman earlier today, even though it didn't really result in a victory. And they have a very different AD carry than what they had in the Hickman game, that being Twitch, someone you have to protect. So again, interesting to see how well that goes down in this lane. Of course, the famed bot lane for Rockbridge, that being Michael Ximzu and Owltime Shan Yu, playing Soraka and Ezreal. Two picks actually haven't seen them play this season. Like you already said before, we're seeing Shan play much more aggressively on this traditional, more of a backline, just supportive buff kind of character. We've seen her twice earlier today. So as you already know, she's all about healing her characters, and can very much be the main character, the focal point, if she does her job effectively. And
just wanted to make a note again, Shan Yu playing Soraka, the champion, very aggressively. I love seeing the diversity in the different playstyles.
Ooh, good trade, though, going over from Hickman. Griffin finding the great engage onto XM. Mid lane, though, first little bit of skirmishes going on in the middle lane. Both junglers meeting their mid laners. Not too much action going on.
And while we notice a few skirmishes going on, let's now introduce the Hickman B roster. In the top lane tonight, we have Alejero James playing Vladimir. Again, a traditionally mid lane pick and a mid lane player. We'll see what he is capable of tonight on this Vladimir pick. Very potent champion for picking apart any squishy opponents that might cross his path. And then, of course, in the jungle, going in for a gank right about now on Andrew Vexhue.
Cancels the knockup as well.
Forces a flash. That is Nathan Nelmore, last name Elmore, playing Zac, the Flubber-like champion tonight. He will also be doing an aggressive style, as we've seen throughout the league. In the mid lane, we also have the infamous Suho Lee Nayeyo, who is actually at Ukatsu HQ playing this game tonight, playing Kassadin, one of the assassin type of characters. Had a fantastic breakout performance with his Fizz a couple of weeks ago. And tonight he's hoping to capitalize and snowball just as hard.
He'll be playing against a very different group of mid laners if they get tonight against Justin, and of course if they go on to the finals. Again, playing up against other BT mid laners.
Much more experienced mid laners, yes.
I doubt that he's going to be able to punish the other mid laners as well as he was in the previous games.
Yes, currently behind in CS. But let's not forget about the Hickman bot lane roster. We have Tom, Lawless playing Vayne, the marksman with the
Varus.
Yeah,
playing Varus. Yeah, just kind of the new skin, the Conqueror Varus skin.
Yes, and also Griffin Pelling, Wylan 456 playing Rakan, the feather man who jumps in and initiates any sort of fight that he sees fit.
Yeah, for the most part now, though, not too much action going on. No early steals, no early invades, no early kills going over either roster. It is Rockbridge, though, that has a slight gold advantage, 500 gold. A lot of that attributed to, actually not even a lot of it, just a slight CS farm advantage in the mid and the bottom lane. Actually 10 farm ahead. Karma over that Caston in the mid lane. Some of that's attributed to the fact that the Caston pick until level 6 is entirely melee, allowing KillXL Justin to punish pretty hard in those early levels. Now Suho Lee has hit level 6, meaning he can blink forward a short distance. This allows him much greater mobility and a lot of damage as well, making him a really potent assassin.
And interesting to see the playstyles of both junglers right now. Right now we see Jeffrey Mullen up in the top lane trying to figure out if it's safe enough to steal this Wraith camp. As we see he is doing right now. He's done a fantastic job this entire season invading his enemy jungler, stealing as much as possible. He's currently up just a little bit in terms of creep score. And for the trade-off, that would be Nathan making more aggressive ganks, as we saw already an attempted gank up in the top lane, forcing a flash away from Andrew. Now he's continuing to farm up his own jungle, and we may see an invade from his side not too long from now.
Another gank going into the mid lane. A lot harder, though, to gank a Caston when he has that Riftwalk. Teleport coming in, though, from Alec Alejero. Doesn't even need it. First blood goes over to Suho Lee. Teleport canceled. I don't even need it, Alec. I'm the mid laner of this game now. Alec doing an excellent job, though, in the top lane against Andrew. VexQ Apostle up about 15, 14 CS. First blood, though, going over to Hickman in a 2v1 situation.
Yep, and the significance of that is that Jeffrey's decided to gank the mid lane. Jeffrey decided to gank the mid lane in a 2 versus 1 situation.
Ooh.
Still lost out to that.
Yeah, might have been a bit more effective gank if Nelmore had actually landed his ability onto Justin. Unfortunately, lands it on 2 minions, unable to lock it down. Suho still going for the kill anyway, and he says, I don't even need you, Mr. Jungler.
No, he did need the jungler. Jungler did participate in an assist,
yeah, a little bit of assist
for that, so did provide a little bit of pressure, the pressure that was needed to clean up this kill.
Yeah, very unfortunate. The flash for Justin Zhang was about to come up in just a second.
And just like that, Hickman High School now has a slight lead in this game at the 8-minute mark. That would be Hickman B squad, as a reminder, against the Rockbridge A squad. Again, the #1 ranked school this entire season.
Exactly, and a pretty good start. Scary start, to say the least, especially when you take into account who the kills have just gone on to, that being Suho Lee. We've seen him play before. Okay, now we've got action in the bot lane. Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen up there in the top lane. Nathan trying his best to keep Alec alive. Alec will pick up a kill, but in return, Andrew Aposta will also pick up a return kill onto Alec Alejero James. He's being chased down. All spit from this rock on the other side of the map to recover half of his health. He's not quite mega yet. Suho Lee going for the dive, opting not to finish it off, probably for the best.
Plays it a little safe, yes.
Yep, he just was able to hit his Mega Gnar point.
Suho now 2 kills, 0 deaths, and 0 assists. Still behind in CS, though, so almost even with Justin KillXL. We'll see what he can do in transition as his character, Cassidon, starts to begin that snowball.
Yeah, and this bot lane where the biggest mismatch was supposed to be, not too crazy far behind, about 15 CS down, which is pretty traditional for how aggressive and pokey this Ezreal and Soraka lane can be. That's kind of what Hickman wants to happen, though. Let their other carries get ahead, find their advantages on the rest of the map, and in the bot lane, just do your best not not to go down too far, not to fall too far behind CS, but especially not to give any kills over to that bot lane, which could be so very scary.
Yeah, still very fun to watch this Rockbridge bot lane playing both slow ramping champions. You know, Ezreal now with double tiers in some cases. And Soraka, of course, not the most aggressive style laner, but they're still playing in such an aggressive manner and winning out in these trades and creep score that, again, they will make an impact later in the game for sure.
Another gank going into the mid lane, forcing the flash from Justin Zhang. Effective gank, though. Without that summoner spell that's on a 5-minute cooldown, the next gank will be much more effective. In the jungle position, though, Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen knows there's no vision. He's cleared it with his pink ward. He's going to secure the first Drake of the game for free for his team.
Very smart of Jeffrey to identify that, hey, I might not be winning these ganks, or I might not be affecting too much in terms of invading, but managed to steal away a very major objective. I'm sure it's going to come into play later. That would be a Mountain Drake. Each Drake has its own separate properties.
Yeah, good heal, Guardian popping to save Tom Lawless's life. Now in a much more difficult situation. The sustain that comes out from the Soraka in the bot lane will do a much better job keeping them alive, keeping them in this lane longer than the Rakan Varus lane.
See a few assist pings coming out from Nathan Melmore as he does jump back in for a re-engage. Does not manage to hit that knockup, though, and will resume farming his own jungle.
Yeah, even though 2 kills are in favor of Hickman High School, it is still Rockbridge that is ahead in gold. Not by too much, but still about 1,000 gold. A lot of that is attributed to the CS advantages that are being found now again in the middle and the bot lane. They've grown much further, almost 20 CS in both directions.
Wards catching both junglers out in the open right now. A small skirmish exchanging between Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen and Nathan Elmore. They'll both try to walk away with this. That would be Hickman's roster, that is. Walk away with this without dying.
Without a fight they wanted to take that time, which definitely makes a lot of sense. Jeffrey, when he hits level 6, has his ultimate ability, allows him to take tanky stats away and gives it to himself. So when he ults a tankier person, it just makes him stronger. Very difficult mechanic to play against. Very annoying, to say the least. Again, it is his bot lane, once again, calling for assistance in a very sticky situation here. Out of mana, real low on HP. Not a lot they can do in this situation against the Rockbridge bottom lane.
Taking that chip damage, and because that they are behind that tower, that allows Jeffrey to do a little more invading right now, at least being a pest or a nuisance in this situation. Kind of takes more than he can handle right there, though. Forced flash out. Yeah,
in the top lane, though, solo kill going over to Andrew VexQ, saying 1 for 1. Yeah, you killed me earlier, I'm going to get you back. 2 kills, though, over in favor of Andrew with Lashangas happening in the top lane. So, looked pretty rough early on, but Andrew's bouncing back. Unfortunate there, though, the Ignite also burned by Suho Lee when jumping onto Trundle. They did get the ultimate from Owltime in the bot lane. Also, actually, it looks like we see a reversal for what we usually see in the bot lane summoner spell. Sometimes you see a barrier heal, barrier being on the AD carry, heal on the support, and to keep that AD carry alive. This time it's in reverse, so the barrier is actually on Sean Yu. They know they want to keep him alive to keep sustaining up in these fights. So very interesting. We don't see an aggressive summoner spell, but instead a very more defensive one, and this time about protecting the Soraka, not the Ezreal.
And we know what can happen, though, if Soraka does position herself positively in these fights, as we saw earlier in this battle versus Hickman matchup, where Evan played a fantastic Soraka, hoping to replicate, or at least maybe they pulled a few lessons from watching that VOD review today. Rockbridge is going to try to play to their strengths, play to their team comp.
Yeah, so Hickman with the early advantages to start this game off. Good kills, good pressure, good ganks around the board, but starting to fall off here, not finding any more initiatives or any more plays made around the map, and is really allowing Rockbridge to find a foothold and establish their strengths across the board. That specifically being in the bottom lane. This lane is not getting any further behind, so to say Hickman's bot lane isn't getting any closer to catching up. So if plays aren't made elsewhere on this map, it's going to really spell trouble for this Hickman roster.
Yes, and this bottom lane for Rockbridge is doing a fantastic job of warding and getting vision of this river, because as soon as Suho leaves lane, they are on full alert. And he will not be able to roam just as much as he'd like, even though he's 2 kills and 0 deaths, 0 assists right now.
Yeah, Rockbridge spotted on that Rift Herald neutral objective, deciding instead to peel off of it. Even though Suho's been so very strong, he's been bullied out pretty hard. Real low on CS, losing his tower. Nathan Elmore going real low. A lot of damage coming out from this Karma. Something we didn't see as much earlier from the Hickman A roster. Suho doing his best to keep them alive. Kill XL will secure the kill onto Nathan Elmore. We see the ultimate coming out from Soraka multiple times, going to save her members across the board on the other side of the map.
Perhaps a slight miscommunication on Hickman's part as to who to focus down in that team fight. Nelmore is just going toe-to-toe against the other aggressive jungler in the esports scene. And it does not pay off for him just because simply Zach does not have that sort of 1 versus 1 potential that Trundle does.
In this lane matchup, we're really seeing the range to melee matchup really come into play here. As an assassin, this Karma pick is honestly really showing up here with the range from the couple of actually aggressive abilities he has, doing an excellent job poking down Suho Lee, limiting him from gets a chance to feel more confident jumping in and trying to assassinate that Karma. We talked before about the answer why Karma is being played against assassins. Those shields pretty much just negate a lot of the burst damage that can come out from that Kassadin pick.
Second Drake objective about to spawn in about 15 seconds. We'll see what happens as Hickman decides to posture around that next objective, clearing out any sort of wards that may be present in the pit. This is an Infernal Drake, so that gives a permanent attack and ability damage buff if they are to secure it.
Teleport coming in from the mid laner, that being Justin Kill XL, trying to support his bot lane. It looked like Hickman was posturing, maybe 4-man this lane. Not gonna go off though.
Now it is time for Rockbridge to do the exact same thing that Hickman did not too long ago, trying to clear out any wards in the Dragon Pit. Again, a very critical objective that if they were to take, gives a slight, actually a pretty crucial damage buff for the team that does secure it.
Yep, Rockbridge is already on it. They're smacking away. Jeffrey doing a great job targeting down the right objectives. Nathan going another teleport being channeled by Alec Alejero. He's going to make it down. A later teleport coming in from Andrew VexQ. Great ultimate though coming out from Griffin. Locking down so many members with that charge. Jeffrey still going on the Dragon. It will go over to Rockbridge's side. Both members of Hickman High School branching apart. It is a split fight. Up here on the top side, Galaxy Fox gets a double kill on the jungler and the support. Alec also getting real low. Very unfortunate situation here. He's going to get stuck in the pit after that flash. Galaxy Fox going to get potentially his 3rd kill in this team fight. He will indeed, with the main advantage of the fight, honestly, going over to Rockbridge. Wow, also a shutdown outplay.
Important shutdown. Overall, a net positive for Rockbridge High School. Initially looked like it was going in favor for Hickman, even with the delayed teleport going on between Andrew and Alec. But with that, not only did they secure an Infernal Drake, they also secured 3 kills, a mid-turret, and potentially this Rift Herald objective, all in one series. Very huge swing going in favor for Rockbridge if they do secure this.
Yeah, now finding a 2-kill advantage. Been pretty far down, I shouldn't say pretty far down, but been down in kills for the most part of this game. Up now, 2 dragons, 2 kills, 1 turret, and the Rift Herald. Huge swing in favor of Rockbridge's A roster. We're going to take a step back now as everything's starting to calm down and try to take a look at that replay. So the biggest part that happened here was definitely the late teleport from Andrew. That's what made it look like his roster had the advantage here. The worst part, though, is that they split. 2 members are at the top side of the pit, while the rest of them, that being Alec and Suho Lee, they're on the bottom end of this fight. Too busy, kind of getting distracted by Andrew VexQ. He did a great job locking him down, just kind of separating them, and that's really why that fight went so far negative. That meaning that Alec Alejero and Suho, who had most of the kills, most of the damage on their roster, they weren't there to defend the rest of their members.
And taking a look at the team count Rockbridge High School does have, you know, in League of Legends, we talk about the early game, the mid game, and the late game. Both Andrew VexQ and Galaxy Fox both have very strong mid-game champions that can skirmish very hard. Beautiful ultimate ability coming down from Michael XM does secure his first kill of the game. And you know, like I said, initially it seemed like it was going in favor for Hickman after you saw the death of Sean Yu and Michael Zhu. But, you know, Galaxy Fox still alive, VexQ still alive, doing lots of chip damage to everyone. Justin Zhang in the mid lane, playing very disciplined, flashing out when he needs to, staying alive.
And that's the most difficult part about those two carries, that being Alec and Suho in both the top and mid lane. They both doing magic damage, makes it easy to itemize against them. And one of them being Assassin, one of them also not quite there yet in terms of like how far ahead he is. It's going to be very difficult for them to take out the tankier opponents, being Andrew and being the jungle and all the shields coming out for Karma. As far as damage output goes, because they weren't able to snowball the lead that they found earlier, it's kind of looking like they don't have the damage necessary to win these team fights.
Absolutely. For those of you who are new to League of Legends, there are two types of damage you can deal in this game. Think physical and magical, and in this case it's called attack damage and ability power. You can itemize your defenses. You see these chain mails, you see these boots. You can itemize against a specific type of damage, and because Hickman is pretty stacked in one side, this type would be magic type of damage. It makes it easy for Rockbridge to build their defenses around that.
Yeah, multiple members now of Hickman High School grouping in the top lane, doing their best to make a play somewhere on this map. Suho Lee going real deep, trying to get on top of the Soraka. Not going to get it. On the other side of the map, though, this is big trouble for Hickman High School. Rift Herald being spawned onto the bot side of the map. Multiple members of Hickman now are trying to recall. It's going to be stopped, though, by XSim. And it's just going to allow Andrew to walk this Rift Herald down the bot side of the map for free. That's definitely going to be that tower. Maybe even the inhibitor tower. All members of Hickman High School on the retreat, desperately trying to get back to their base. They're in a very difficult split-pushing situation here, having to make the choice to instead to engage on the remaining members of Rockbridge. They know they're not going to make a bot lane in time. They know Soraka also isn't here. This is their chance to actually win a team fight. Nelmore bringing the ultimate, bringing KillXL into the middle of the fight. He goes down, but at the same time, while all this is going on, Andrew VexQ getting 2 towers and an inhibitor for free.
That is thanks to the Rift Herald objective they took down not too long ago. So despite the overall team fight win for Hickman High School, they neglected to play the objective game. And now, yes, at 22 minutes and 30 seconds, you have an inhibitor, the bot lane inhibitor for Hickman High School down, adding that much more pressure against Hickman right now. They spawn super minions when the inhibitor is destroyed.
Yep. It's an impossible situation that Hickman was put in, electing instead to take the fight. They did secure a kill and potentially tried to protect the tower as long as they could, but instead what they had to give up was their inhibitor and the 2 towers in the bot lane.
I'm guessing if Nathan had found maybe 1-2 more champions within his ultimate ability and locking those guys down, they might have moved towards the Baron objective, but they were not able to do so.
Mm-hmm. Trying to make the best of the situation that they were in. That's at the best, that's probably one of the best decisions you can see coming out of them is the fact that they're very decisive about their calls. They made the decision and they went with it.
And again, this is typically the type of playstyle you see from Hickman High School, is making these good macro play calls thanks to Coach Ben Bruce. Today, not just in this game, but also in the battle game, we've seen that the other teams are picking up on this strategy now. That, you know, it's not just about kills, it's not just about winning the out matches for numbers, but playing the objectives. We still see 5 towers to 0 in favor for Rockbridge, giving them a huge, almost 10,000 gold lead, as they start to do yet another objective in the Dragon Pit right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very fortunate. Weren't able to capitalize too well on the early leads that they found. And because of that, just from with the composition they have right now, it just does not look like they have the damage necessary. The only AD source that they have coming from the Bears, that being Tom Lawless, he's down by almost 80 CS, no kills. He hasn't died yet. He just has only 1 item completed to the vast amount that's coming out from the other team.
A summoner has disconnected.
We do have a pause. It looks like Owl Time, that being Sean Yu, has disconnected from the game. Hopefully we'll see him in just a couple of moments when he comes back.
Just some minor connection issues here, and let's talk about the game that's transpired so far. What kind of adjustments do you think Coach Ben Bruce would try to make going in the next pick and ban phase?
Arguably maybe splitting the damage types in the top and the middle lane. Again, both of them are mid laners, so that might come into play now why Alex, maybe his champion pool isn't quite deep enough to stretch into like a different damage type or even a tankier kind of play style. And potentially just kind of diversifying their damage output because, especially in this bot lane, Tom Lawless isn't likely to find a lead and get too far ahead. It also doesn't look like they're going to be finding too many ganks with just the vision control that's coming out from that bot lane. You see right now on the bottom side of the map how many blue wards are down there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wards in the bot side of the map.
Very difficult for Nathan Elmore to actually find a gank onto that lane, especially when XM has so many escapes. They have this Raka to keep them alive. Rockbridge did a great job protecting that lane, knowing that they're going to win no matter what they pick. Just doing a great job, I guess, preventing them, or just from not putting them in a situation where they could be in too much danger.
Makes you wonder what kind of jungler they might try to put Nathan Elmore on next time. Perhaps maybe a champion that can do a better job in the 1 versus 1 situation against Trundle, or even someone who can gank a little more easily like a Nocturne tank.
Yeah, it's definitely not to say either that Nathan has done a poor job. He's had a lot of ganks, a lot of pressure on the board. And it just comes out right now. I'm not quite sure if Hickman has enough damage. We're seeing the heals coming out. This Baron was stolen, though, by Nathan. Great job. He will lose his passive.
And he will be the martyr that Hickman does need right now, stealing away a huge objective. Baron Nashor Wish, if you do not play League of Legends, is a huge objective that empowers all the minions that are around your character. This will at least keep the game going that much longer and allow the Hickman squad to farm up, get some gold, get some experience to hopefully have an even team fight coming up.
Exactly. If Rockbridge were to secure that objective, it's very unlikely that Hickman would have had the best of time wave clearing, stalling out the game too much longer. So definitely breathing a little bit of life back into this Hickman roster with that Baron. So great job, Nathan Elmore. Elsewhere though, what does Hickman need to come away, win some of these team fights? And one of the options I can think of is trying to split them apart. They don't necessarily have the best split pushing composition, but if we're able to at least take some of these members away from each other, take the Ezreal, take anyone, even if it's the top or the jungler, away from the Karma, away from the Soraka that's doing such a good job keeping their teammates alive, there might actually be a chance for Hickman to try to find some gold, get them on the right people, and at least prevent Rockbridge from grouping up in this composition that's so hard to kill.
And I think as soon as the damage dealers for Hickman High School start to itemize against, playing around this Gnar and Trundle pick, maybe going for more tank destroying items, we'll see some more even team fights in the upcoming skirmishes that will transpire pretty soon.
Yep. And that's the thing too. Same thing with what we're seeing from the Varus. If you're going for a more crit Varus build, going to take him a little bit of time actually to get items that will really help him take out some of these tankier members. Probably for the best, though, that he didn't go in for a Ginso build or anything of the sort. While the percent health is pretty effective, it does also kind of scale off the magic damage. So, again, trying to diversify the damage, so you see a lot of damage, a lot of crit AD coming out from the bot lane. If he's able to catch up in the late portion of the game, maybe Tom Lawless will be able to put out the damage necessary to potentially win some of these team fights for him.
Again, Thomas Lawless is one of the more new players to the Ukatsu High School eSports scene and to the game of League of Legends in general. If he can continue to keep his auto attacks up in these team fights, stay healthy and stay alive through the peels of Griffin Pelling and Nathan Elmore, maybe he's going to be able to be the contributing factor, the X factor in this scenario. Yep.
But it's a vision control right now that that astonishes me right now. You see right here, this is what Rockbridge can see. See all that vision they have of their enemy jungle? Hickman has nothing. The entire side of the map, except for one ward in the river, it's dark. And that just goes to show how effective and how used to this kind of game that Rockbridge is playing. They're used to pushing and they're used to being ahead, and what you do then is you suffocate the enemy team. You deny them their vision, you secure vision in their own jungle, and you take all of their resources. And Rockbridge is doing an excellent job of doing that. They have all these range characters that they can just poke from a distance, and they're doing a great job sieging this tower and slowly but surely beating it down, even though Hickman has the Baron buff. to counter push.
Team composition from Rockbridge High School, you don't really see any sort of snowbally type of champions. Every single one of their picks contributes to the team in a very respectable way, and you're seeing that together through the synergy, through the shot calls, through the macro play, and again, pushing every single wave and keeping Hickman on their toes. It's just working so much more effectively than what you would expect to see in something, you know, a quote-unquote youth eSports league where you figure everyone's going to start playing one tricks, everyone's going to start playing assassins. That's not what you're seeing tonight.
Nathan Elmore is still trying to find and engage onto the Ezreal. It's very unlikely he's ever going to lock him down with the mobility that just comes from that champion. But desperately trying to find a play somewhere on the map. Maybe an ultimate coming out from Navarus will lock enough members down for Hickman to actually land a proper engage.
Meanwhile, the split push is working its magic for Rockbridge High School. Currently a 1-3-1 situation with now Justin Zhang rejoining his team in the mid lane, leaving Andrew Vexcu, who's already done a fantastic job this entire game split pushing, to continue to do so.
Like I said before, the ultimate coming out from the Bears will lock down XSim. He's going to go down for the second time. A huge target that they need to lock down. Nathan Elmore maybe going a little too deep. Tom Lawless trying to catch up. No ultimate here to lock him down. This time, I was wrong actually. Here comes the ultimate from the Zac, throwing him back 5 members onto Jeffrey Galaxy Fox. That's the fight that Hickman needs to take. Great job isolating honestly, the member that they needed to lock down, that being Michael XSim. He's the one that's been jumping back and forth, just poking him down time after time.
Yeah.
We're regrouping and protecting the carries.
And if at first you don't succeed, try again, says Nathan Elmore, who has jumped into these fights repeatedly, again and again, and noticing that the split push is happening, decides to try one more time to pick out Michael XM, and does so successfully. Very well played on their part.
Most of that has to be attributed to the ultimate coming out from Tom Lawless. That's the best part about putting him on a utility champion like this, is he offers so much to his team, even if he's behind on damage. But, oof, the dragon there was stolen by Andrew.
Vexcu. Not even a smite ability coming out, leaving 3 Mountain Drakes and an Infernal Drake for Rockbridge High School. They're still ahead in this game, though, again, as we said earlier, with the Vladimir pick coming into play, he's going to start doing more damage towards these tankier champions.
Now, the worst part about that, too, with the 3rd Mountain Drake, if enough members of them go down, Rockbridge will just tear through these towers. The 3rd Earth Drake buff actually grants an extreme amount of bonus damage against structures. We're seeing right now, not enough time for a teleport to go through. They will take that tower for free.
And you figure at this point, with the lead that Rockbridge has, maybe they'll opt to go for a more 5v5 straight-up fight.
Yep, it was the split pushing that put them in that situation there.
They still do have a very comfortable 5 versus 5 team fight anyway with the Soraka pick. Lots of shields coming in from Justin Zhang, who is playing Karma tonight. Nothing to worry about. They don't really have to be the split push in this situation. And they can apply pressure, so much of it, thanks to all of the Drakes that they've gathered throughout the entirety of the match.
Definitely, though, for, again, it's a Hickman, quote-unquote, B-team roster doing an excellent job up against this A-team. Again, neck and neck right now, 9-9, down by still about 6,000, 7,000 gold, but still hanging in there. Probably better than some of the A-teams have against Rockbridge. This is a very good look, especially as it's the first game. Excellent pick, though, coming out from Suho Lee. Didn't quite catch it there, but that's who you need to pick off. No barrier up onto Shan Yu, so they take out that healer. Now we're trying to see the actual engage coming out. Now they don't have Shan Yu in the backline, keeping their members healthy.
And once again, Andrew decides to keep this split push going. They currently have a top lane wave crashing into Hickman's 2nd tier turret, as well as Andrew himself going for the inhibitor right now. Meanwhile, Hickman is trying to secure their first turret of the game in the middle lane.
Yeah, good job by Rockbridge, though, setting up their sideways properly. So even though they found that advantage, Hickman not able to capitalize off it too effectively. Here comes the roam down, though. Oh, unfortunate whiff, though, by the Bears. He goes down to Michael XM. Alec Alejero, though, reaching on the back line, but unfortunately, at this point in the game, the Gnar, the top laner, that being Andrew Vexcu, is so very strong. 2 members of Hickman do go down.
And now this time with Andrew in the fight, they easily take down 2 members of Hickman High School. The fight continues on, though, inside of the base of Hickman High School.
Great
And
ultimate.
almost all members.
It's just damage at this point.
Yes.
You look at this, or what's coming out from this team. They're landing their abilities. They're even positioning pretty appropriately. Unfortunately, Tom Wallace getting caught out of position a little bit there. Maybe a little bit greedy going for that middle tower, unfortunately. But just not enough damage coming out from this roster. They're locking him down. They have the CC. You see right here, even Tom Wallace not barely tickling Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen. 12 to 10 currently. These 3 Earth Drakes really coming into play as these towers, these structures just falling apart like paper to this Rockbridge roster.
2 inhibitors down for Hickman High School. The 3rd one about to be attacked in just a few moments as soon as this wave starts crashing in on the turret. With 5 members of Rockbridge, this will be a real 5 versus 5 team fight if they do try to engage on anything.
Tower staying alive with just a sliver of health. From a wave clear standpoint, once again, Hickman is just at a disadvantage. Does look like though Rockbridge is opting to reset. They're sitting on a fair amount of gold, 3,000 gold actually, in the pockets of both the mid laner and the AD carry, that being Justin Zhang and Michael Zhu.
Just like that with Baron objective up, will it be Hickman making a desperate Baron call to hopefully, again, try to maybe steal the Baron to stop this constant pressure that Rockbridge is putting on them? They can probably win a team fight if they play their cards right. Suho Lee still somewhat fed, though he is behind quite substantially in creep score. But he's done his job throughout the game and trying to find picks, you know, finding a pick on Sean Yu and Michael XM at various points of the match.
Yep. Again, speaking roster staying relatively close in farm across the board, other than the mid lane, like you said before, down by almost 100 CS. Again, that's the ranged melee matchup. Andrew Vexu Apostle, though, always a solid top laner for his team. Deathless, even though getting bullied pretty early on. Looks like
Thomas Wallace will get picked out of this situation. That's where the experience comes into play to be able to make the call of whether to push a lane or to stay back with your teammates, especially as a marksman. Very easy to get wrapped up in the CS game and not notice that the fact that you have no vision in your jungle or in the river.
Yeah, essentially opting to risk his life, sacrifice his life for the tower, but in return, Rockbridge will get the Baron because of that. In that 5v4 situation, there's nothing Hickman can do contest at that time. Desperately now, with their backs against the wall, it looks like it'll be their final stand. 2 inhibitors already down. Suho Lee losing most of his health, even to the super minions.
Certainly a grim situation for Hickman High School in their game 1 of this best of 3. 2 inhibitors down, Baron objective lost, and a very aggressive team coming from Rockbridge High School, executing every objective very, very well. Currently 9 towers to Hickman's 1, with only one or two towers remaining in the wave.
Yeah, Rockbridge though, and their classic style of honestly kind of extending games longer than they need to when they're this far ahead, opting to even go for the Elder Drake after they've already secured the Baron. They have 4 dragons already. Really just trying to say, or I guess really, I don't know. I don't know what's
playing
really
it as safe as possible in this case. They do take the Elder Drake, which grants a ton. Granted, they have 4 Drakes already through the entirety of the match. Grants a lot of bonus statistics. This will probably spell GG for Rockbridge as they start to knock on the Nexus door for Hickman High School. Game 1 may very well be over in the next few seconds.
Exactly what it looks like. There's nothing that Hickman's roster can do to defend against this onslaught of minions, of poke, no damage. Look, you see right now, barely any members of Rockbridge losing any sort of HP. These shields are just crazy, so crazy to deal with.
Yeah, even with Michael XM going down to half health, he pops that Archangel staff, and just like that, he's got so much more ability to stay in the fight. Same thing goes with the backup of Karma and Soraka. That will spell Game 1, Hickman versus Rockbridge, going in favor of Rockbridge High School. Again, a best-of-3 matchup. Both coaches continuing to talk to their players right now, trying to make adjustments, find new picks, new bands, trying to figure out what strategy will work and what will get them to the finals this Wednesday.
Yeah, you look at the end of the game there, the top and the jungler, that being Andrew and Jeffrey, both sitting on a gargoyle stone plate as well. They truly were unkillable at the end of that game. And it's honestly something that a very good draft by Josh Cobb, the coach of Rockbridge High School. And again, it's going to take potentially a complete 180 by this, maybe potentially the draft, by the players to kind of overcome maybe the gap that just is the Rockbridge A roster right now.
Yeah.
Again, Hickman roster played very, very well. They won the early game. They just weren't able to, I guess, continue that lead, snowball, and play their win conditions, which, looking at it now, are actually a lot smaller than we initially thought.
Yep, Rockbridge showing off that they are indeed the #1 seed team in the Ukatsu High School eSports League. Don't leave your browser, though. We will be coming back with Game 2 in just a few moments.
All right.
All right, and we are back for Game 2 of Hickman B versus Rockbridge A. First game going over to Rockbridge after a very commanding performance, taking every single objective in their path and also taking every single dragon. That was what? 1, 2, 3 Earth Drakes and 1 Infernal. Not to mention, I want to give credit to Andrew Vexq, who is playing Gnar, not even the jungler, able to steal away that third Mountain Drake for Rockbridge High School.
Yeah, very incredible. Almost as incredible as the ending of that song. It came out right when we came to the webcam. I don't know. I really thought that was really cool.
Coordinated.
Yeah, very coordinated.
We totally knew it was going to happen.
As this Rockbridge roster as it looked last time around. The best part about that, though, was just how clean they got to the end point of the game. But that last fight really was the epitome of what that comp was supposed to do. No one took more than maybe 100 damage from what it looked like to us. Multiple gargoyle stone plates. We heard a little pop from each of those, and it's just an unkillable roster that had just enough damage to basically wipe the floor with that Hickman roster at the end of the game. They just didn't have the damage, and hoping this time around maybe we'll have a solution to that. On the blue side this time around will be Hickman's B roster. We're seeing 2 support bans and the Ezreal ban being taken away from Sean first time around. Of course, we're seeing the Darius and the Fizz, both bans taken away last time, as well as the Braum, a very comfortable pick for Willen, 4, 5, 6. Poppy and Kled in the top lane. Andrew Vexq is a very good Kled player from what we've seen previously, from when he's played in the solo queue. So I'm excited to see this in the top lane for Rockbridge this time around. Zach, this time going in favor of Rockbridge as well. Jeffrey, Galaxy Fox, Mullen.
Well, he hasn't locked it in quite yet. There we go. A very comfortable pick for Jeffrey Mullen. But I do like this Poppy pick for Alec Alahero in the top. Poppy's ultimate being a giant swinging hammer that she can throw down and instantly send out whoever she desires out of the team fight. And in this case, we're going to see large impacts or large engagements coming in from both Andrew in the top lane and, of course, Jeffrey in the jungle position. And we were talking about this before during our brief pause. For the jungler pick on Hickman's side, they do go with Nocturne, a more 1 versus 1 dominant type of champion compared to Zach. And again, despite the wards in the lane, he can still use his own ultimate ability and pretty much engage on any champion he sees within a very large radius.
Yeah, this time, multiple AD picks, though, go in favor of Hickman. I love that Rockbridge actually took away the Trundle. They had the Zac this time around, and they took the Trundle away from Nelmore, something he's pretty decent on before, from what we've seen. And again, kind of a low-key counter to that Zac, throwing the pillar up, stopping the engages, and just out-trade him, take away those resistances. Pretty scary. This time around, though, they struggled before not having enough attack damage. This time, Hickman is basically all attack damage.
It's kind of a head scratcher in this situation. You can clearly see the disadvantage that Hickman had having only AP damage, including Varus in the bottom lane, and now they decide to go full stack AD, wondering, can they close the game out early enough? Can they really feed their Hickman mid laner well enough to be able to say, hey, let's just make this a 25-minute game so they can't push back, so they can't build Thornmail and armor against it.
Yeah, once again, we're seeing the response to the assassin in the mid lane being played by Suho Lee, Karma. Once again, a very difficult matchup for Suho. He's, again, a melee assassin playing into this champion that can shield herself and can poke from a distance. That is not the easiest of matchups to play into. He is not as weak, though, pre-level 6. But again, excellent job by the Rockbridge draft having so many things around their AD carry to protect her. This time it's the Kaisa, something that's been constantly banned away from Michael Xsim. It's a very scary pick, especially when it gets later into the game. And with all these tools that can protect this Kaisa, they being the Karma, the Tom Kench to eat him up if the Assassin's going towards him, an Arrow if he gets locked down, the Tom Kench was an excellent pick into this Hickman roster.
Yeah, I honestly have some fear for Hickman's squad right now, seeing this Kaisa pick in probably one of the best bot laners in the league right now, Michael XM, who's also, he's not just adept in League of Legends, but happens to be a or at least a master Overwatch player as well. He's you know, kind of a master of multiple trades. And right now, this Kaisa pick, with the amount of outplay potential and engagement on Tom Lawless, we could see a very bot lane dominant game early.
Yeah, it's what really worries me at its later point in this game. They have these assassin picks, but what's going to happen when the Talon and the Nocturne can't assassinate the Kaisa? She just gets saved by the shields, saved by the Tom Kench. What's going to happen then when those guys go forward and you see the Kled and the Zac then going for the back line for the rest of Hickman's roster? It's going to be a very interesting situation if Hickman doesn't get ahead early on with these assassin picks.
And at the same time, you have to wonder, as we talked about, the all AD team comp coming from Hickman High School. You got to wonder if they will seal this game before the 30-minute mark because until then, Kled, Zac, even Tom Kench, they could easily build their armor up and just negate all the type of assassin burst damage that comes out of the mid laner Suho Lee, who does have mostly assassins in his wheelhouse.
And from what we've seen, that's all that we've seen, actually.
Yes.
Interesting enough, he did very well in the Yasuo when he played that, I guess, like a week ago. Maybe it was even last Friday. I don't quite remember. Interesting that we're not seeing that picked up again, not seeing the same champion more than once. But yes, the Talon into the Karma, Karma looks like the answer to this assassin pick.
And Justin's been playing it very well too. Not only is he, evading a lot of these ganks very well, making very beautiful flashes, but at the same time he's picking up a lot of creep score and being a pretty big threat, even though he's not playing that sort of outplay, big impact type of champion. He's still using his shields very wisely, using his ultimates very wisely, encouraging very healthy team fights for this Rockbridge squad.
Exactly. The difference here, though, from the last roster to this one, though, is Alejandro James, the carry for Hickman, is on a tank tonight on the Poppy pick into the Kled. Not really sure how well that matchup's going to go. It's very unlikely he's going to be a crazy carry this time around, but the Poppy does have an ability that will negate the Zac specifically. Zac flying in won't be as easy to get in if Poppy's got her W up. And Kaisa, exactly, I was about to say as well. Kaisa can't ult forward if she has her W up. So a little bit of a counter pick there. It's just kind of going to come back down to damage again for me. Will Hickman High School have enough damage to break through the shields, break through the tanks, and get to the damage dealers of Rockbridge?
Yes, that is something we will have to see in Game 2 of this best of 3 versus Hickman and Rockbridge. Again, the semifinals to decide who will be playing in the finals against Battle High School, who won earlier this morning with a pretty big upset victory over Hickman High School. Of course, Hickman did not have their star player, but they've proven before in that season that they're just as capable without them. Battle, again, wasn't really about Hickman's failures, as more of it was Battle leveling up and really being a team that can synergize very well. If they so do match up with Rockbridge High School, I'm very excited to see who has the better macro play come game day.
Exactly. Arguably enough, when you're watching these teams macro, you're watching them rotate effectively and efficiently. It's like sometimes I can't even tell what solo queue elo they even are. Again, so excited to see the growth of these players throughout this league, and the conclusion of some of these teams. One of these teams' seasons will be after this series. It could be potentially Hickman's end of the season if Rockbridge walks away with another victory in this game.
All players now popping into Summoner's Rift. Maybe a cheeky invade? I don't know. We haven't seen too many of that in the Ukatsu High School eSports League. Both teams doing a very good job. One of the first things we promote here is to watch your jungle entrances. And as you can see, as they're splitting up right now, they are doing so.
Yep. Again, for the most part, a lot of these players, we already know defensive, safe picks are just kind of better, more comfortable for them. They know they're going to fall behind off of a little misstep. And like over time, though, we've seen a lot more of these players taking riskier decisions, making riskier plays. And we would like to see that the more comfortable they get on stage.
I'll be very curious to see how the jungle matchup goes this time. Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Mullen picking one of his most comfortable champions, Zach. Zach does not have the easiest wave clear first time around, but neither does Nathan Nelmore's Nocturne pick. We'll see if they do still go for a jungle invade or at least a skirmish in the river as they maybe try to battle it out over the scuttle.
Exactly. A little bit of aggressive warding going on. We've seen a ward going over the wall, over the blue buff, spotting Nocturne, that being Nelmore. He immediately wants to switch, going for the bot side instead, opting to start at his red buff. Trying to throw off the scent of Jeffrey that loves his early invades. He did do it last game, though. The biggest thing that we're seeing right now, though, is this right here. The cheese coming out from Rockbridge, sitting in this bush. Hickman does not know that both Exim and Owltime are sitting there. So much damage going on to Tom Mullins. He's definitely going to have to pop a summoner if he's not going to give away first blood. Flash is a little too late. Follow-up flash from Owltime will secure first blood over to Hickman High School. Or Rockbridge High School, my bad. Will in 4-5-6, yeah.
Like that, first blood does go for Rockbridge High School. Granted, it does go on the support champion, Tom Kench, played by Sean Yu tonight, but multiple summoner abilities also going down for Hickman.
And definitely, when they get back to lane, their combat potential is going to be weakened because of those summoner spells burned, as well as they're going to be down in levels, down in gold when Rockbridge chooses to recall. Not the best of starts for that roster, but if you're not going to invade, sometimes cheesy starts like that are just enough. Nathan Nelmore also going for the cheeky invade, maybe trying to get something back in return, but we're seeing Owltime, Sean Yu coming up to defend his jungler instantly.
Does get spell shielded though from good reaction time from Nathan Elmore. He does have that slight edge in this 1 versus 1 early in the game. But let's talk about this bottom lane. Michael and Sean, they are playing very different types of champions this game. They're not playing the pokey champion Ezreal or the safe champion Soraka. Instead, they're going for the aggressive plays. Sure to see something happen as they already have a very commanding lead in creep score, 15-5. That is 3 times the amount. Now with Jeffrey roaming in
Look at these
to the
deep
enemy
wards
jungler.
already. That's something I was going to say instantly too. It's very respectable that this Rockbridge team not only knows how to do this the right way, knows how to get these invades, steal the right camps, but they also know how to respond to it when it's happening to them. As soon as Nelmore was spotted on a ward or pinged out by Jeffrey, instantly the mid laner and the support from his team rotate up to come to his defense. Something that every other team has struggled with when they spot Jeffrey in their own jungle.
Yeah, sometimes in a big part of the solo queue mentality, it's just kind of like, well, you're getting invaded, you kind of have to take care of yourself, or maybe I will be there, but I got to farm up real quick first. And that's not how you're supposed to be playing these against these very aggressive invade-heavy junglers. You just got to take them out.
Yeah, it's very, exactly. That's exactly what the mentality is. You know, why should I put myself behind to save you if you're already behind? And again, that's why we see better teammates, better team comps with synergy, doing just that, responding and helping their junglers out.
Of course, as Jeffrey starts to clear his own raids right now, Nathan is just around the corner. Will he decide to pick up on this? He does not. Narrowly misses the vision. I'm sure he didn't see Zach taking his own raid camps.
Yeah, this time though, once again though, the top lane going pretty well for Alec, and actually in the mid lane as well, even though he's a melee champion into that range karma. Actually ahead in farm at the moment. Ooh, as I say it though, he misses 3 melee creeps right there. A little bit of the caster's curse there. Apologies, Suho.
Still pretty even across the board right now. Maybe a slight gold advantage for Rockbridge High School. We'll see what happens in this bottom lane. Again, very interesting picks for, I would say, Griffin Pelling, who seems to be more of a defensive type of support. At least that's what I've noticed in the past
Oh, you missed it in the top lane. Gank coming from Nathan Elmore on to Vexdew. Last game, he didn't die once in lane. I don't know if he actually died the entire series. Going down now to the gank by Nathan. That's 1-1. They're on the board. Yeah, but as you're saying in the bot lane, though, I definitely agree. But not to say his Rakan last game was poor. He got great ultimates, had good engages. There just wasn't a lot of damage to follow up. But like you said before, the very interesting part is them choosing that duo this time around. The Tom Kench specifically, that big frog being played by Owl Time, Sean Yu, he has stability that eats a friendly, and it just takes him away. It just makes him untargetable. They can't attack them anymore. And so when they're locked down and stunned by any of these abilities, Tom Kench can just save them. Here comes the gank, though, coming in by Jeffrey. Instant teleport, though, coming in from Alec Alejero. Real good look, going right onto the Kai'Sa. He gets exhausted. Flash coming out from Michael Zhu. Alec, though, making the decision to TP bot, try to get the kill. At least he saves his teammates. And he already knows that Vexdew used his teleport to his top lane, so there's no TP advantage going over in favor of Rockbridge.
And with that unsuccessful teleport, we do see Andrew does push up his entire wave onto the enemy first tower, doing a little bit of warding before smacking down on that tower. He may have had a chance to take it down significantly had he stuck around for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, again, kind of a difficult situation that Alec has been put in. Potentially that teleport might have been necessary to save his bot lane. You see the slight gold advantage coming from the farm lead from the Kai'Sa, and you don't want them getting too many kills too far ahead in the gang, so I do like the instant teleport, the decision. I'm just going to go for it. Maybe we're going to pick up a kill. It did put him a little bit behind. We do miss a kill in the mid lane, a solo kill, that being Suho, taking down Justin KillXL, having much more success, a much greater success on this assassin into the Karma than he did last game. That's what you need, though. These assassins, the Nocturne and the Talon, being played by Nathan and being played by Suho, they need to get these kills early. They need to get the head, and they need to snowball. Luckily, both these champions have really good mobility, a lot of pressure on the board, on the map. The stronger they get, the higher levels. So hopefully they'll start translating that lead now across the board, helping out their bot and their top lanes.
And as soon as Hickman High School recognized that Jeffrey had to defend the mid lane turret, they instantly go for an invade right here, waiting around for Jeffrey to perhaps sweep around to his red side buff. And we will be flanking just a little bit.
Yeah, the Poppy not quite getting the stun onto Andrew Vexdew. He's still currently on his Scarl. Misses his ultimate, though. That's not going to knock anyone up. A little bit of misplay there. Justin KillXL has made it to the fight before Suho. Both Hickman laners flash away, trying to get the safety. We're going to see here. Unfortunately, the Krugs do play spoiler there. There we go. We see Suho finally making his way up to the party, going to pick up the kill on the Jeffrey Galaxy Fox Nolan. So from all those shenanigans, excellent job by Rockbridge to respond, unable to pick up any kills, and instead it's Hickman that walks away with the advantage. Suho maybe playing it correctly, being a little bit late there, picking up the kill. And that's really how you want to play Assassins sometimes. We see so many of our high schoolers, sometimes some of our middle schoolers, when they play Assassins, they love just going in really early. And as an Assassin, you never really want to be the first one to a fight. You kind of want to be there, honestly, to clean up if you're not isolating targets and taking people out one by one. So maybe Suho, they're making the right decision, waiting for all the cooldowns to be burned from that Rockbridge roster to pick up the clean kill onto Jeffrey.
Yeah, so net positive goes towards Hickman High School, pulling away in kills, but still slightly behind in gold. Ever so slightly, only about 200 gold, that is. But it all comes down to this mid lane matchup. Suho now has the resources he needs to start making some plays, be it another kill on Justin Zhang or roaming around to the top or middle lane.
We hear Suho cheering from his post. Currently here, pretty excited. He looks very happy. We'll see what happens 3 minutes from now. Seeing the ultimate from Andrew, yeah.
Nathan
away.
Continuing to give attention to the top lane. And actually, now that I notice, he's been doing that all season, as the top lane gank is probably one of his most favorite lanes to approach. Forcing an ultimate away from Andrew. Now he does not have this ability to hard engage or even use when he has his teleport up in the very near future. So good pressure applied from Nathan on the top side, knowing that maybe the bot lane isn't the favorable matchup here. Identifying that, hey, bot lane maybe play it a little bit more safe. Just, give the farm away ever so slightly. In this case, it's about 20 CS in favor of Michael because they've got such a talented team. They've got that disengage with Tom Kench.
Yeah, I definitely agree, especially the synergy being up there as well. Alex, normally the mid laner, someone they played together with for a long, long time. Now he's in the top lane, so they have that communication, they have that synergy. Makes sense for him to put his pressure there. Jeffrey not playing the more damage kind of dealing jungler this time, not going to go for the early Drake steal. This time we see Nathan instead going for the ultimate, trying desperately to dive onto Justin Kill Excel. Very unfortunate, though, that Jeffrey had also just made it to lane. Exhaust coming out onto Suho. He's going to get out with his life. Just good timing, though, by Rockbridge. Also, the ultimate coming out from the Tompkins as well. He flashes. Suho Lee is going to escape, though. So much burned, but great job by Rockbridge trying to respond. Good job, though, by Hickman.
That play
also
call
escaping,
from Sean Yu. Again, a very aggressive type of champion.
In the top lane, solo kill. This time going over in favor of XQ. Just like last game, actually. He may fall behind a little bit early, or he gets killed, solo killed, gets ganked, but he seems to always bounce back. Kaisa, though, now stuck in this 2v1 situation. Hickman bot lane not respecting her, though. Not respecting the other laners who have finally made it down. The mid and was the support. Making it all the way down. Seeing the teleport coming in from the Poppy, trying to back him up. A return teleport, though, coming in from Andrew XQ. It's going to be a 4v3. Great knockup coming out from Alec Alejero. Right now, it's the 4v1 situation with Nelmore making it down there. This fight is turned into a full-on team fight. Great job by both teams, instantly responding with their global objectives, or global teleports, global abilities. No kills going over in either direction.
And all of Rockbridge canceling their recalls right now, which might be a mistake with Suho coming in for cleanup kills.
He does pick up the kill onto the support, that being Sean Yu. Oh, gonna pick up a double kill. Suho making it there just in time. 2 kills going over in favor to the Hickman Assassin. 4-0-0 this time around. And we know how he likes to play. This time with that amount of gold in his pocket, that's a lead he can definitely push.
And suddenly, you have a very potent mid laner for Hickman High School. He can now pretty much one-shot any sort of champion he sees fit. I'm surprised that they all canceled that back instead of just giving that turret away, because they were so low in that situation, everyone under half health, or at least around half health, that it is a mistake to give that up to an already somewhat fed Suho Lee.
Yeah, very, very good look for Hickman right now. And the thing is, you said that at the beginning of this game, though, they are playing with an hourglass in mind. It's just a ticking time bomb before they no longer will do any damage. They are a full 80 composition into this Rockbridge roster, which means over time, pretty soon Galaxy Fox, VexQ, even Kill Excel and Owl Time, they're going to be very, very difficult to kill. They only have to itemize armor. They don't have any diversified damage, so it's going to be a lot harder for Hickman to end this game the later this game goes. And
taking a look into the purchases of Rockbridge High School, we finally see our first armor items coming out from the jungler. We did see one already from Tom Kench, but this is when armor will play a factor into these team fights, and if they don't seal it up, like you said earlier, they're just not going to win these post 30-minute fights.
Hopefully they learn some lessons from last game as well. Just the later the game goes, they won't deal any damage. At least this time they might have a little bit more potential to maybe split the map up. We see a lot of roaming potential from the talent. Ultimate, though, coming out from Nathan Elmore onto Justin once more, but Jeffrey always right here. Ultimate's coming out, though, from the Tom Kench. That's 4 members in the mid lane. Suho will get shut down by Justin. Great job by Rockbridge, always responding. Instantly there.
Instantly. This is the kind of play that you would normally see.
Oh,
gets
just
out
gets it
narrowly.
off.
As I was saying, this is the type of play you normally see from professional teams right now. The instant reactions, the teleports, and the ultimates from Sean Yu. Holy moly, they are able to respond to these ganks.
This time around, though, no one's going to be able to protect the bot lane this time around. Overextended once more, feeling safe because the bot lane of Rockbridge had ulted away. 4 members of Rockbridge roam down, pick up the double kill. Onto a little bit more inexperienced bot lane of Hickman High School's B team.
So that is the second tongue lash secured under turret for Shan Yu, who has had a fantastic game, I think, this in this best of 3 game 2. He's such a playmaker, able to teleport, kind of negate the, or at least combat the global pressure that Nathan Melmore has with his own ultimate as well.
And just like that, though, Rockbridge has tied up the kill advantage, currently up ahead by about 2,000 gold. No turrets are yet taken off of the board yet. Neutral objective, the Rift Herald, trying to be taken by Hickman Rockbridge.
And again, you would not know that this Hickman roster would be the quote-unquote B team with the play that they're executing tonight. Again, Hickman B team has always been a borderline varsity squad in their own right, if they didn't already have such a talented pool of players.
And they're going up against the best, the first seed, being Rockbridge High School.
Doing a very good job standing up to them.
Yeah, so very clean. Kaisa already securing her first item. Not the usual first item, so to say. The Ginso's Rage Blade being picked up by her, but also about to finish up her armor boots. Going to make it a lot harder for anyone on Hickman's roster to deal too much damage. Those Ninja Tabby, being the armor boots, they decrease the auto attack damage from all champions by about 10%. That's a pretty significant number. Looks like Suho Lee kind of getting caught on the mid lane. The ultimate from Nocturne, potentially probably just being used to maybe close out the vision. So many global ultimates, so much global pressure coming out from Rockbridge, always there to respond. Now once again, looks like the bot lane of Hickman caught out a little bit too deep. Teleports are back up though. Alec Alajero teleporting back down. Tom Lawless barely escaping with his life. Teleport is canceled, or maybe forcefully canceled by Andrew Vexq, and that's a teleport advantage now into the top lane of Rockbridge.
So yes, it's up to Hickman right now to have their more inexperienced players sitting back, not getting caught, because there is a lot of engage coming in from Rockbridge's side. If they can stay healthy, they may be able to pull out the victory earlier in the game.
Yeah, shenanigans going on in between the towers of Hickman High School. Tom Lawless comes in a rock in a hard place, stuck at his tower. 4 members of Rockbridge diving him down. That's the 80 kill of Hickman going down once more, the 3rd time this game, leaving only 3 members left to defend this bottom tier tower.
Traditionally in the Ukatsu High School eSports League, whichever team decides to go with that four-man bot lane dive is the one that usually has the commanding lead, or at least the steering wheel for the game.
Oh, real close fight going up in the top lane. Gonna come down to the wire here. Oh, Andrew Vexq getting just enough of his rage back. Probably going to get Snarl back. Gets it back just in time, but Alec does win the 1v1. Looked like he was just about to get his Snarl back, meaning he gets a bunch of gray health back. He gets a little mount. Pretty scary, really unfortunate in 1v1 situations when that happens. Great job by Alec to secure that 1-on-1. And they're going to spot the Rip Tower in the top lane to secure potentially the first tower of the game. Rockbridge, though, in return, instantly rotate to the Earthbreak. They had 3 of last game. Now, if we're looking at exactly what the Earthbreak does, it does 10 bonus % damage to epic monsters and towers as true damage, meaning it just ignores all armor and magic resist. They had 3 of those last game, so they were ignoring, they were doing 30% bonus damage as true damage to structures and neutral monsters. That's a significant amount of damage.
So yeah, it seems like Rockbridge High School currently playing to Hickman's weaknesses, focusing on this bottom lane, namely Tom Lawless and Wyland 4, 5, 6, but at the same time Hickman focusing on their strengths.
Yep, exactly.
Playing the mid lane, assassin, trying to get him as fed as possible. Hopefully he will start doing more roams in the near future. Cleanup kills is exactly what we need to see off of Suho Lee, and at the same time, the synergy between Alec Alajero and Nathan Melmore. Sometimes Alec doesn't even need Nathan, though he is there to provide any sort of backup. But Alec playing a very well a very safe and at the same time a very what's the word here? Competitive Poppy.
Yeah, and even though the kills are even, it looks like Rockbridge has most control in this game. Objectively, it's going in favor of Hickman. You can't win this game unless you take towers. And while this bot lane's been ganked multiple times, they're sitting at 0-4-1 record. Their bot tower is obviously a little bit healthier than the Rockbridge bot lane, even though they've been hit by multiple 4-man ganks. So pretty solid look from Hickman for, honestly, the kind of position they were put in.
Now, what's so fun to watch is as you see the caliber of play improving throughout the 10-week season at Ukatsu headquarters, we're seeing fewer deaths, fewer towers getting taken too quickly, and all around just better play. I specifically remember a team fight in the bottom lane that just seemed to last forever, like you'd see in the professional plays. Peels coming down for their AD carries, teleports dropping in at an instant. It's just very fun and rewarding to watch the progression that we've seen.
Oh, great! Knock up against the wall by Alec Alejero. So much damage coming out. This time, though, Andrew Vexq Apostle will get his Scarl back. You see, he gets his little mount back, gets a little bit of that gray or orange health back specifically this time around. Going off, though, in the mid lane, looks like Nelmore will go down. Suho barely escaped with his life, and that's also the potential, the scariness that comes out of this Tom Kent pick. With his ultimate, he's able to basically teleport with a teammate to one side of the map. Because of that, you see the bot lane with the mid laner flanking the bot laners of Hickman High School. They do pick up the tower, but at what cost? Tom Lawless dropping low.
And I love their attention
Griffin also
to focus down the teammates, not letting Griffin escape out of that situation. Michael XM still picks up the kill, even though he is quite a bit away from the enemy Ashe. That would be Tom Lawless. Now they are taking down the first tower for Rockbridge High School. They still do have a 2K gold lead.
Yeah, unfortunate fight in the top lane. In a 2v1 situation, Alec almost picking up the kill onto Andrew Vexq. Galaxy Fox there to play spoiler, though. But on the other side, though, Hickman, while they're losing these skirmishes, while they're losing these small fights, they are securing objectives. In the mid lane, Suho Lee picking up the outer mid-tier towers. Just 3 towers going in favor of Hickman High School, keeping them at least competitive in gold.
Looking at the board here for items, you see Ninja Tabbies are going for every single one of Rockbridge's team, save Sean Yu, who is playing Tom Kench. Still waiting on their second armor item to happen before you see any sort of damage mitigation really playing effect.
Play being made in the top lane, teleport as well. That's 4 members of Hickman's roster on the top side of the map. Arrow not landing on the Kill XL. It gets real low, and that's the great part about this Karma. All these shields keep someone alive that normally wouldn't when getting jumped on by as strong of a Talon as is Suho Lee. And though it's Alec Alejero James that's being left in the sacrificial lamb, ultimate being burned by XM. Michael Zood to secure the kill. 1 kill going down for a very unfortunate look for Hickman. And they get turned on instantly. Rockbridge able to respond to that 4v4 situation.
And just like that, we saw Suho, who is currently 4 kills, 1 death, and 0 assists, attacking Justin Zhang as hard as he can, but still it's not enough for the shields that come out of Karma, the champion. If they can't start, one-shotting these champions now, it's not going to get any easier come late game.
Exactly. We talked about the ticking time bomb, and that's exactly the situation that Hickman's in right now. As strong as they were going to get, as far ahead as they were going to get in this game, is probably already past. It's going to get even more difficult for them to blow characters up. That was the opportunity right there, and that's kind of what showcased how strong this Karma pick with the shields is, how strong the Ninja Taui, how strong the armor is. In that 1v1 situation, essentially, he wasn't able to kill her with all of his abilities.
Yes, and both the top lane and jungle for Rockbridge High School is still yet to build a real armor item. We're going to see how that plays into the team fights in probably the next 5 minutes or so.
Now, multiple members of Hickman positioned around the Baron. Multiple members of Rockbridge positioned around the next Dragon. Kill XL landing the root onto Suho. He's forced to burn his ultimate. Same with Nelmore. That's 2 key ultimates down for the Hickman roster.
Yes, Nathan has to use his own ultimate defensively, which is not something you want to do on a character like Nocturne, just to save potential champions from getting picked out. Hickman does capitalize, or excuse me, Rockbridge does capitalize on this with an important play from Nalman's way that we're about to see.
Yeah, here comes the ultimate from the Kled as well. Alec kind of caught out on his own, using Owl Time. He has an escape tool. Not going to get out, though. The other team, Rockbridge, is just so sticky. So tanky.
Literally.
So hard to get away from. And it's right now, it's kind of showing like the faults in this composition for Hickman. They just don't have enough damage. Right before the fight even broke out, we saw a volley coming up from the Ash, there being a little cone of arrows, and it dealt no damage. It dealt 0 damage to the Karma with her shields active.
Yeah, and again, all goes back to pick and ban phase. Right now we're seeing Griffin Helling venturing too far into the river, getting picked apart super quickly as he runs into 5 members of Rockbridge High School.
Once more, we're seeing a key disconnect being Owl Time Sean Yu from this game, forcing the pause.
Not sure what type of ISP he's got at home, but he's still playing a fantastic game with 4 kills, 1 death, and 4 assists. Remember, he's the support player for Rockbridge High School and already has an 8 KDA in this game, being very aggressive, being very on point with his ultimate abilities, using that that global pressure almost better than someone like Nathan Nelmore in this game, who has only had to use it to save the lives of his teammates.
Yeah, and you got to wonder just what is the answer to this Rockbridge roster? It's again, when you're looking at their individual lanes, when it comes to like their mechanical ability and strength, there's not too many crazy standout performers, and it really just comes down to how excellent their communication, how great their compositions are, and how great their rotations and just their macro play is. It's very hard for these teams to beat.
And that's seriously something that Rockbridge High School maybe didn't even find in the first few weeks of the Ukatsu High School Esports League until they really got comfortable with their coach. That would be Coach Michael Cobb, or I'm sorry, Coach Josh Cobb. He really brought the team together in terms of bringing his own diamond solo queue prowess into Rockbridge's squad, who thought that they felt lost for a second because they did not have a coach. But now with their coach, they've built a fantastic relationship with him. He's been able to steer them in the right direction, not just Rockbridge's A roster, but their B roster as well. And they are now firing on all cylinders. They don't just have, as we saw in the exhibition matches earlier this year, they don't just have Justin and Jeffrey. They now have a fully fleshed out bot lane that, again, deserves to be one of the best, crowned as one of the best bot lanes in the league, as well as the solid top laner Andrew Apostle VexQ, who actually switched from AD carry to top lane and has done a superb job in his own right. Very interesting gameplay that we're seeing here, and you have to wonder if they do win this game, how it's going to stack up against the very interesting battle roster that we saw this morning.
Exactly. And now with that, though, the pause is going to resume back into the 6-14 deficit for Hickman High School. Zach landing the slingshot, forcing the ultimate from Suho. Another key ability that's going to be down for a little while. While Rockbridge recalls and resets.
Yes, there are only a few lasting moments left for Suho Lee. Currently 4 kills, 1 death, 0 assists to find his opportunity to pick apart either Justin, which we already found out he can't do it thanks to the shields that Karma does deliver, as well as just never really finding an opportunity to punish Michael XM because he's such an immaculate, careful, but aggressive player. That's what I like about Michael's playstyle. He knows when to go in and when to not play, overly aggressive, careless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, currently down by about 5,000 gold, still up in towers. The top second-tier tower is also rather low. Might be the only way right now that Hickman can win this game is by splitting the team apart, just like before, and trying to get objectives down that way. Again, that might be one of the ways to break up this Hickman or this Rockbridge team is by split pushing them, preventing their team comp from working together as a group. But as we've seen before and throughout this game, they're so good about answering immediately and decisively to calls and to picks. We've seen, it looked like one person was caught up from Rockbridge, and instantly there's 1, 2 people, 3 people there to respond to back up their teammate. And that's something that takes a lot of time, a long time to kind of drill into a team, to train them to do that, to respond to it appropriately. It takes good communication, clean, clear communication specifically.
Yeah, not muddying up any comms and not calling out anything that might be redundant. These teams know how to rotate, at least the best ones in the league. They know how to rotate, focus up, and especially when it comes down to team fights, prioritize which champion needs to go down first. Now as we approach the 28, almost 30-minute mark, we can't help but feel like Hickman may be kicking themselves for selecting an all-attack damage composition after just playing a game with an almost all ability power composition.
Yeah, like when you're talking about the ticking time bomb, it's, like I said before, right around the 30-minute mark. Currently almost 1 minute away from that point. It's going to be so hard to take down these tanks. Yet Jeffrey Bullen, Galaxy Fox playing his Zac, he hasn't even built any armor yet. Take a fight breakout actually on the top side of the map. Jeffrey getting a clean ultimate, bringing 3 members of Hickman over. He's gotten real low. He takes the blast cone cleanly over. He's real safe. Excellent play by the Zac. Looks like he was caught out. Ults all the members over the wall. It just gets out clean with the blast cone.
Yeah, they did not have Sean Yu in that team fight to continue any sort of aggression. But with that, another tower does go down on Hickman's side. This would be the blue, I'm sorry, the bottom lane second tier turret.
And going back into what we're saying before, like you said before, these guys aren't even building their real armor items yet, and actually just opting for straight health, flat health. And the reason why that is also so good is that these assassins, being the Nayayo, Suho Lee, and Nelmore on the Nocturne, assassins are all about quick, bursty damage. Once they run their cooldowns out, they can't, that's all they got. And so there's not enough consistent DPS coming out from the Hickman roster to break down the health. So as soon as they get armor as well, there's going to be nothing stopping Rockbridge from taking almost 0 damage in some of these full-on team fights.
Yeah, in that last team fight, or at least that last skirmish, you were seeing Suho trying to step up and do something, but he quickly realizes, wait, Karma's right there, able to deny any sort of damage I can deal. He's got, I should say, Justin has got an exhaust ready, queued up to eliminate and mitigate whatever damage comes in from Suho's direction. At this point, you're right. They're looking for more of a split push type of composition, or maybe a character change if they were allowed one with ability power to diversify the type of damage.
Now it's back to the classic Rockbridge strat. They have the advantage, they have the Baron. All about Andrew sitting up here in the top lane, split pushing, while the rest of the roster up. But this even picks up free kills in the middle lane. Karma picking up some damage items now. Jeffrey Galaxy Fox going for the huge dive. Catching one person in his ultimate, that being the support, Griffin Pelling. He's going to drop 16-6 right now. They're going for the dive. Now they're at both ends of Hickman's roster. Suho doing his best. He didn't pick up 1 kill. There's nothing that Hickman can do in this situation.
Yet another one last defensive Nocturne ultimate, but it is a little too late as all 5 members of Rockbridge remain alive, pushing in with the Baron at this point. Jeffrey applying as much pressure as he can as the front man of the team. Sean Yu, again, very immaculate play from him tonight on Tahm Kench. I didn't even know he had a solid Tahm Kench until tonight. And that is it. We have your finalists for this Wednesday, May 16th. Congratulations, Rockbridge High School, putting on quite the show, showing why they are the #1 seed in the Ukatsu High School eSports League.
Yeah, very much so. Again, immaculate play once again from them. Battle has a very steep hill to climb to answer this team. They just started showing for the first time their own macro ability, and it's going to be difficult to go up against a team that's, quite honestly, veterans at it at this point. But they did upset Hickman earlier this morning, so there's definitely a chance. Great showing though from Rockbridge. A good season to both of the Hickman rosters. Again, they hadn't lost a single game except to Battle once in the first round robin, and so they were sitting at a 7-1 record before coming into this. Great showing from a B team roster, performed arguably better than a lot of the A teams did throughout the season against Rockbridge.
Yes, and they will end their season there, but I'm sure still very happy to be a part of the high school esports league. I know kids like Griffin have been nothing but very supportive of everything that we do here, and we want to thank him. Shout out to him for just being such a trooper, and he's also going to be there Wednesday despite not playing in the actual finals match. And of course, there will be a banquet or a party before then that we will both be attending around 4:45. I forgot to mention that earlier. But yeah.
With that, though, we're going to close the stream, and we'll see you guys Wednesday. And yeah, we'll see you guys Wednesday between the game between Battle and Rockbridge on Wednesday night, Hickman Auditorium at 6 p.m. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys then. Thank you guys.
Signing out.